assembling the Easy Transit Fat Tire Folding 750 watt E-Trike. Stick around. Hey everyone, I'm Dustin. I have 20 years experience in the bike and e-bike industry, and today we're going to assemble the Sixthreezero Easy Transit Fat Tire Folding E-Trike with a 750 watt motor. Now, super unique electric trike. It's got 16-inch by 4-inch fat tire wheels. Really stable, but also compact and has the ability to fold. So if you want to transport it, it's a really great option, and also can take on hard packed trails with those really wide tires. So again, really cool combination of being small, compact, but a nice wide tire. All right. And if you want to find out more information about this particular model, it's linked in the description below. Okay, now, if you order online, it's going to arrive to you in this box. This is actually a box that we can ship regular FedEx or UPS ground. So that's how it would be delivered to you. And it is 40 inches wide by 30 inches front to back. And from the ground, 26 inches tall. And it weighs approximately 80 pounds. With all the packaging and everything. Okay, I have all my tools lined up here, which you'll see in a second. I like to start with some snips, or you can use a box cutter or really sharp scissors. And you'll want to start by snipping off the straps here. And then from there, pop your lid open. Now these are stapled down, so be very careful when opening the lid because you don't want to scratch your arm or your leg, okay? Now I'll bring you in for a closer shot so you can see exactly how everything is packaged. Okay, so you can see we've packed this pretty tight here to get it into a condensed box size. So first thing you're going to encounter is your rear fenders, okay? So I'm going to take these and set them to the side. So that's fender 1. And fender 2. Now keep in mind also, this is an optional install, right? You don't have to put these on. If you want to reduce the weight or reduce the width of the trike, you can leave those off. Okay, now right here on top is also your seat. And there's a zip tie there, so let's snip that off. I'm gonna put that to the side. Okay. Okay, now from there, this is your front wheel right here, okay? So let's go ahead and snip all these zip ties. Don't worry, we'll grab whatever just fell there. All right, and this is your front wheel, so let's set this to the side as well. All right, and the part that just fell, this is actually your stem, okay? So let's go ahead and put that down here also. Okay, now from here, you've got a couple options. So one, you want to make sure you go through and cut all the zip ties so you are able to unfold the trike. So I'm going to go through, find all the zip ties I can and snip them. But before I do that, if we can grab our basket here. Yep, let's go ahead and pull that out. So this actually has your front and rear baskets inside of this. So let's go ahead and pull that out as well. And let's just do a once over in here to make sure there's nothing else we're missing. Okay, also inside of this is going to be a box, which will have a few other pieces we'll get to, including your charger. So that is an important piece. Okay. Now from here, I'm gonna go through and cut all the zip ties, and then we'll show you how to get it out of the box. Okay, one more quick thing as we come to snip these 2 zip ties in the back here. Just wanna show you that there's this piece, actually it's bolted on right here. This is gonna be for mounting your basket. So just leave those there, and we will get to those when we get to the basket install. Okay, so you have 2 options in removing this, okay? And I'm gonna move the box forward just a little bit. One option is to make a slit right here and a slit right here and here. And you basically, actually you don't need to make a slit here. Just make a slit here and here. Then this flap will fold down and you'll have a garage door to wheel it out. Now, in the case that you need the box again, you can always tape it back up if you make a good slit on each corner, right? So you don't want to damage it too much. The other option is if you can't lift this yourself, have two people lift it out of the box, and then you can start your assembly. Or if you're able to lift it by yourself, which is what I'm going to do, you can just go ahead and lift it out. Now you can see on the back frame here, it's got this cross beam right here, and then I can lift up on the basket mounting area as well. Okay, so before you try to lift it out, just make sure it's free, right? Like of any areas. There we go. Okay. And you can see probably better a two-person job than a one-person job, but okay, a few things to point out. The keys for your battery will be hanging on the cables, so either snip those off and put them in a safe place, or just let them sit there. They should be fine. Now, from here, the first step is, if you haven't cut all the zip ties, come in and cut all the zip ties to ensure that you can unfold the frame, okay? So it essentially comes folded up, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to figure out, okay, I gotta cut this zip tie, and let's cut this one, okay? Now from there, I should be able to get my handlebars out of here, okay. Now, we wanna get our frame folded back up, okay? So, if you wanna come around to the front here really quick, show you. So this is your quick release mechanism to hold the frame together. It kind of came tucked in here, weird, like that. So just pull that out, and that'll give us the freedom to unfold the frame, okay? All right, now from here, just gonna lift up right here, and you're gonna start to fold the frame back, okay? Now, the first time you go to fold that, it may be a little tight, okay? So as you fold or refold, it'll loosen and get easier over time. All right, so when we get it to this point, in order to lock this in, you have to click up on this piece, and that will allow the frame to go in like so. And then from there, you can put the quick release in and tighten down like so. Now, we've got our bike in a good position to start installing everything else. Okay, now mounted to the rear tire, zip tied on, this is actually your front fender. All right, so we wanna make sure we get that to the side as well. Okay, and we'll come back to that. Okay, now let's go ahead and install our front tire. All right, now you can see here there is a bolt and a washer. Now you can leave these on to install the front fork. All right, so just try to get them to the end. You can also take them off if that's easier for you, but I like to leave them on. All right, now from there, let's go ahead and lift up here. Okay, so we're gonna lift up here. All right, so you're gonna insert your rotor. This is your rotor right here. And that's what the brake pads are going to stop the bikes with. So you gotta get the rotor inside the pads. And then once you have it inside the pads, you can drop your forks down onto the axle like so, okay? Now, your brakes should come pre-adjusted, so you should be able to just slip the rotor right into the pads. And from there, I'm just gonna hand tighten these nuts on to keep the wheel in place. And then I'll grab our wrench to go ahead and tighten those on. Okay, so these are a 15 millimeter. You can use a box wrench. I have a ratchet set. A ratchet set is gonna be one of your easier options. This is a ratcheting wrench. And just get that tight to the point where you can't tighten anymore. Okay. All right. So now that we have that on, we can move on to our front fender installation. Okay. So from here, okay, so I got my fender in here, and we're gonna need to loosen this light that comes on, okay? So that is a, I believe a 5 millimeter Allen key. And then I think a 10, yep. 10 millimeter bolt on the back. So let's go ahead and get those loose. And from here, I'm gonna take the light off and I'm gonna put this fender strut on, okay? Then I'm gonna put the light on after. And then put my nut back on, okay? So the first thing that goes on is the fender tab. And then before I tighten that, I'm gonna do these bolts right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen these. Okay, now this is important. You see this strut here. You wanna put this, well, actually right in front should be fine. You just wanna make sure that this cable is not pinching at all. That is very important, okay? So sometimes it could be better. In this case, that's gonna make it too tight. So we're gonna come over the top here and we're gonna tighten this down. Now, you just wanna make sure that this cable doesn't get kinked at all. If it does, it's really going to prohibit how the brakes work. And I'm gonna come over to the other side and repeat the same thing. Okay, if you find that the fender is tight in the rear here, you can switch the tab to be on the back side of the light to give you a little more space. Also, you wanna make sure that this fender is lifted as high as it will go to create space, okay? And then from there, we're just gonna tighten this down. And that's nice and tight, okay? Now let's move on to installing our handlebars and headset. And before we move on to that, we are going to go into this box here. Okay. Now this has some extra pieces in here. All right, so your charger, your assembly manual, a cap for your axle, and your pedals, all right? And let me just double check this box as well. This is Yeah, just your charger. Okay. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we have everything. All right, now let's go ahead and install our headset. Okay. So, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get this in here, okay? All right, now, from here, we want to fold this down, okay? And you're gonna see there is this bolt in here, okay? Now that's what's gonna allow it to get tight, okay? So, from there, before we do that, let's put our handlebars in, okay? All right. Now you'll notice for inserting the handlebars, there's a little notch in here and a little groove on the handlebars, okay? So you have to get those two. I don't know if you can see. You can see the notch here. Actually, I can just fold it up and then you can see right there, okay? So if you see, here's your notch and then there's a groove. So that has to be inserted correctly. All right. Now I'm gonna tighten this quick release down right here. Now there's a little trick to this. Step one, come in with your 6mm and you're gonna start to tighten this bolt. Now, once you feel it to get a little harder, let's stop. And from there, fold your handlebars up, okay? Now, you are able to, it's a little bit tight, but you can still wiggle it. At this point, you wanna line up your stem with the center of the wheel, okay? And this way, once you lower it, nothing's gonna move. So it'll stay totally straight, okay? And then you bring it back down, and that's when you do your final tightening here, okay? And you fold that down and fold this back up, and your handlebars are straight and installed. All right. All right, let's do the front basket while we're up here. So you've got this support bracket right here. All right, and so that's going to mount in the middle of these two screws right here. All right, and then this is going to go on to this bracket here. So first thing is we need to remove these bolts right here. All right. And now this comes with a little hardware pack here, all right? So for this piece, we're going to need this little bracket right here. So let's go ahead and install that. So you're gonna find the position you like. Oops. All right. All right, so put your screw through the bracket. All right. And then from there, we're just gonna come in and again, you kind of want to find the position of wherever you want the basket, right? You can adjust the height according to this bracket. So I like it right about there. So we'll just come in, push that on the back like so, and then we'll put our bolt on. Okay, and then we'll repeat on the other side. And I'm just gonna hand tighten for now until I also get the support strut tightened on. Or not tightened on, but positioned how we want it. Okay, now for the support bracket, we're gonna take this piece and that's gonna come underneath like so, all right? And then we're gonna take this silver piece and come on the top here like this, all right? Tighten that on. Okay. Now this is threaded, but there's also bolts that you can add to the bottom to just get it extra secure, okay? So I'm going to tighten these on. Okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna come underneath and I'm gonna throw these nuts on the bottom as well. Okay. And this should be an 8mm nut. Yep. So just go ahead and tighten that down. That's just gonna make sure this is gonna be really secure to this brace to ensure, you know, you can carry heavier objects like your doggy and feel safe. All right, that's nice and snug. Now I'm gonna come back up to these two bolts and get these tightened down. So it's a 10mm in the back here and 5mm Allen key in the front. Okay. And I'm just gonna repeat the process on the other side. Okay, so I took the packaging off the fenders and I just rested them right here. So this is pretty easy. It comes with these bolts on the fenders. And you can go ahead and loosen these. Okay, there's one. Okay, so now you're just gonna line up these holes with the holes on the frame here. Pretty easy. And you're just gonna pop it through like so. And then I'm just gonna hand tighten it as much as I can. Let me get the other one in here. Okay, and it really is beneficial to try to hand tighten it as much as you can. Okay. Now for the final tightening, I actually really like the tool that comes with your bike. This is a multi-tool. It's got Allen keys on here. And so I think, let me see, I think we need the 5mm. Let me just confirm. Yep. All right, so you're just gonna wanna put that in here. So this is the one thing, is it's a little bit of a tight fit in there, which is why the hand tightening is really pretty important to make your life a lot easier. Okay, then from there, come in. Now this is the more challenging one to get to. Okay, so to tighten the bolt right here, you're going to need a 5mm like this. If your tools don't come with it, we can send you one. That's gonna be the only way to get in here and tighten this bolt down. You can see there's very limited space. And I'm just gonna crank it till it's all the way tight, and then we will repeat the process on the other side. All right, now we're gonna install our rear basket. So getting back to these struts, they come bolted on the frame, or struts, or cross beam pieces, whatever you wanna call them. So we need to get all 4 of these screws out. So there's one there, here, and then once we get all 4 of them out, we can start with mounting the basket. All right, now that we got the basket on here, I like to put it so the latch opens like that. And what you're gonna do is you're going to lay your brackets like this, okay? Now, a little bit of a trick to this. Let me get my 4mm Allen key. All right, it's my 4mm Allen key. Now, you want to make sure you line up these cross beams on the bottom of the basket, you know, sort of in line with these holes, right? And the thing about this is that you just have to push these bolts through the mesh of the basket, all right? There's not an exact hole for where they go. You just have to find the right spot and push it through. Okay, so we got the first one in, and now we'll come over here and same deal. Okay, that's in. And again with this, I'm not going to tighten this all the way down. So we have a little bit of play to make sure we can get these last 2 screws in. Okay, so we'll put our piece on here. And make sure wherever you line these up, right, you have enough. You've lined them up correctly to allow the bolts to go through the hole of the bracket. Okay. And we'll pop our last one in right here. There we go. And then from there, I'm just going to go around and tighten these all the way down, and your rear basket will be installed. All right, and then real quick, your rear tail light right here. This is pretty easy. I'm just going to take the 2 nuts off the back and slide that in like so. Excuse me. And then we'll just come and tighten these bolts on. And I believe that is an 8mm. Just make sure that's nice and tight. And you're good to go. Okay, now for your pedals. They're gonna come marked R and L, and you just wanna make sure you install them according to that. Now, the key to the pedals is they're both forward tightening, okay? So what that means is that the left pedal is actually a reverse thread. So when you go to tighten it on, you're gonna turn it forward, all right? And you can kind of just go like that to get it on, okay? Then from there, this is a 15mm box wrench. And just crank that down, okay? And do that on both sides. You want to get these pretty tight to ensure your pedals don't come off. And then your seat, just gonna slide that in. And to get your quick release tight, a couple tricks here. One, before you clamp it, you want to turn this knob here, okay? And that gets it a little bit tight already. And then once you go to clamp it, it'll be more difficult, but it'll ensure the seat is nice and tight. Now, if it still moves, you can loosen this. Again, come in, tighten that down a little more. Find your right position. I just want to get that thing parallel. Like that, okay? And clamp it down. Nice and tight. Okay, now for pumping your tires. It is on the side of the wall of the tire here. It's 20 PSI, so pretty low PSI. And you just clamp it down and fill it up. Now, you can, that 20 PSI is the max PSI. You can go less, and it's gonna give you a softer ride. More air is gonna make it a little stiffer, but it's gonna make it roll a little more efficiently. So kind of up to you, the type of ride that you want. Okay, quick tutorial on how to use your e-bike. So the battery has a switch on it that needs to be turned on, which is located on this side. If the switch is not turned on for the battery, the bike will not turn on. So flip that on, and then you can come up here, and your power button is located right here. And you're gonna press and hold, and now your bike turns on. So what you've got here is your battery life, your miles per hour, your motor watt output, your distance traveled, and your outside temperature. So you increase your assistance level from the motor by pushing the up arrow here, or you decrease by decreasing it. This is your button to go into drive or reverse. In order to go in reverse, you flip it, you hit the throttle here, and then you'll need to pedal backwards as well. So this is your thumb throttle. You want to ease into this like a gas pedal on a car, and it will start to move. You don't want to jerk it back and forth, right? Like a gas pedal, you wouldn't want to do that. Ease into it. Now, you've got your gears for the bicycle element over here on the right. You only want to shift these while you're pedaling. That's very important. And you have your parking brakes. So your parking brakes, you pull this lever and you flip that right here. And you have a parking brake on each side, keeps it from rolling when it's parked. You've got your quick release for the handlebars up here. Move them up and down, find the perfect height for you. Now, one other thing I want to point out is you have a lot of your cable connections up here as well. All right, so you want to make sure, as an example, I just noticed that this connection, in fact, came apart. So you just want to pop that back together, okay? Like so. And we're good to go, okay? But if anything is not working, you may just want to check these connections first. In terms of the battery as well, your charging port is right here by the switch. And you're just going to pop that out, plug your charger in. Now your keys again are up here. So to take the battery off, you'll put it in, unlock, and you can slide the battery out. And I think that covers mostly everything. If you have any other questions at all, you can reach out to us, the team at sixthreezero.com, or call us 310-982-2877. You can also comment below and we'll get back to you. Also, don't forget the Easy Transit Fat Tire is linked in the description below. And like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to us. So thanks for sticking around, and don't forget, it's your journey or experience. Enjoy the ride.